Crossovers and Grand Summoners go hand in hand. You really can't have one without the other. And it seems like no matter what, GS always needs a crossover going on 24/7. Literally, this game cannot go a week without having some type of crossover prevalent in the global and Japanese version of the game, which is both a good and bad thing. Bad because that means they could bring some good units that really power creep some old ones, but good because it always means there's something to look forward to, and it's a chance for the game to grow, for them to add new mechanics, and all that good stuff. Did GS actually do that half the time? Let's be honest here, not really. But sometimes they really surprise us with their crossovers. Like with the first time Yu Hakusho came out, whenever they showed us that, hey, these guys are going to be luck 120, and by the way, you get one of them for free. And then they kept doing that going forward. They kept making 120 luck units, and they kept giving out free tickets until they realized, wait, we're losing too much money. And they stopped doing it, which was really sad. But we're not here to just only take a stroll down memory lane, ladies and gentlemen. No sirree. We are here to talk about what I think are the top 3 crossovers that need to return in Grand Summoners. These are crossovers that haven't returned to the game in so long. I'm talking about some of them have only debuted and never came back, while others have came back a few times, but it's been about a year or two since we've seen them last. So this list that I compiled is a list of my bias, but also some of the crossovers that I've seen the most when talking about this topic in my live streams. I don't know if this list goes in any order apart from the number 1 spot. Let's get in the number 3 spot, what I think should really come back, and that's gonna be ReZero. It's been so long. Here, you know what? I'm actually gonna look it up right now. When was the last time ReZero was here? Has it really been 2 years since ReZero has came out? I think we're destined for a rerun of this crossover because we actually had some solid units from this. One of them being Rim. Of course, she does have that huge detriment of it consuming her HP, but she was a fun unit that did a lot of damage. That also is kind of a cheat code if you learn that you can just give her crit rate and then have someone defend her and you don't have to worry about her taking her own HP. We also have Emilia. Emilia is a great unit. Was one of the best nuking support units just to have. Still is one of the best nuking support units for water nukes, but now since we have Melty and Melty's been buffed, I feel like Emilia's kind of fallen off a little bit, and we don't really see her too much anymore. Still a great unit, but just not as good as some of the newer stuff that's been re-released and buffed again. And there's also some pretty solid equips that came from this as well. I think one of them was called like Rim and Ram. It's pretty much Goku uniform, but it gave you like attack and damage, I think, instead of just damage. And some other good stuff that came along with it. And yeah, I would love to see ReZero come back and possibly add a new unit. I feel like just buffing up the units and bringing them to like current day standards wouldn't be enough if we had a rerun of ReZero. I feel like we really need a new unit alongside it to really add the cherry on top and be like, okay, here you go. Now, the next 2 crossovers that I'm going to be mentioning, I'm kind of like cheating a little bit here because it's technically going to be 4 crossovers I'm recommending instead of just 3 to come back. But to me, these 2 are kind of tied for me. One of them is going to be One Punch Man. Now, here's the thing about One Punch Man. One Punch Man has reran, I think, 2 or 3 times on global already. The first time it came through, of course, it was just Saitama and TT, and then the second time it came through, it added the season 2 units, which was like Fubuki, Goro, and Speedo Sound Sonic. Oh, and how could I forget to Genos, right? Genos is a unit too. Oh, this guy's bad. Nowadays, a lot of these units are just not great anymore. Even like Saitama himself, it's kind of fallen off in terms of the nuking position, which is surprising. I thought that we would never see the day when Saitama actually kind of lost his role as the nuking king. But I see a lot of people now like using other nukers and using other characters instead of just always going to Saitama, which is definitely refreshing in terms of the nuking scene. But I personally would like this crossover to come back, not only just for Saitama, but for everybody else. Like, I would love to see a buff Fubuki, a buff Speedo Sound Sonic, TT even. And then Goro needs like a complete rework. Let's be honest here, Chad. Would I say that they need to add a newer unit to One Punch Man? I don't really know, because what do we have? We had what, 5 units I think from OPM, not including Genos, which was 6. So maybe you do add like 1 more unit, but it's like, who do you even add at that point? Maybe you add like a more recent villain, or maybe you add another hero into the game that we don't have yet. And the next crossover I want to recommend before we get into the final one is gonna be Golden Kamuy. I think that if this comes back, this definitely needs to buff up all of the units like Hijikata, Shugimoto, and Usurpa to very good levels, because this came back, I think, not last year, but it might have been 2 years ago, and whenever it came back, it did buff up these characters a decent amount, but they didn't really go super ham with it. And I would love to see, the boy Shugimoto actually be good. Like, I've tried to make Shugimoto good multiple times, and I have done some nukes with him here and there, and he has done pretty decent damage, but if he had like a little bit of a higher multiplier, just an overall better kit, he could definitely be pushing out the numbers with the big boys. Only problem is that his true art's really slow. And Usurpa herself, it's kind of a toss-up, man. I feel like there's nothing super difficult in this game to where it feels like that you need Usurpa. Usurpa's a great addition, but the fact is that the game is catered around being offensive, right? Everything about the game is, oh yeah, how fast can you clear it? Or, oh, how much damage can you do? Nothing in the game is catering to, oh, let's turtle. It's been a while since we've had to fight an event where we weren't strong enough as the player to just like absolutely decimate an event. And as the game goes on, more broken units come to the game, it definitely makes it to where the overall difficulty of the game goes down. Even if you don't have these said units, just other players that have them and you join multiplayer lobbies, the event that you used to think was extremely difficult may not be so bad now. Like Ganon, for an example. I feel like everybody can just beat Ganon like it's nothing. He still has some challenging mechanics here and there, but for the most part, dealing damage to him and actually melting him down nowadays really isn't that bad. But still, I wouldn't mind this crossover to come back simply for the fact I want my boy Shugimoto buffed and my boy Hijikata with a new unit too, by the way. We only have 3 units in Go and Kamuy. I think that we need to get another one if it ever does return. And then finally, this is the big one here, the one that I myself want the most out of all the crossovers, and I think it's kind of equally agreed upon by most vet players too, that they want this to come back as well, and that's Yu Hakusho. Yu Hakusho brought in some crazy units, and it was such a fun time too. It was a very fun crossover. That was probably one of the best states Grand Summoners has ever been in. Now, will that happen again if Yu Hakusho returns? Probably not, but I would love to see some of the boys get buffed, like Hiei, Toguro, Yusuke, the boy Kazuma. I would love them all to get buffed. Well, Kazuma maybe not too much, because he may power creep my gray, and I ain't gonna like that. But yeah, these characters are in desperate need of a rerun. They're just so outdated by this point, and yeah, I feel like none of them are really that usable anymore. I mean, of course, you can still use them, right? But their modifiers are just so low, and they don't deal like that much damage compared to newer units, and I just really want some buffs for these boys, because they really need it. I also would like this crossover to come back because this has the infamous, or the famous, let me say, Kurama Whip in it. 5-star magic, one of the best nuking items in the entire game, because I didn't even realize how good that was at the time, because I wasn't really into nuking. I mean, I kind of was, but not an insane amount. That's going to be my top 3/4 of the crossovers that I want to return in Grand Summoners. So tell me down below which your guys' favorite crossover is, or what crossover that you guys want to see return. I personally try to pick crossovers that I saw didn't return too much, or it's been quite a while since we actually got them again. I didn't put stuff like Kill la Kill whatever on here, because I mean, even though Kill la Kill does have Mako, we've gotten Kill la Kill like 8 times, and I'm so sick of that crossover. I hope it never comes back again. Some of these other ones though that I feel like definitely deserve a rerun hasn't gotten one yet, and it's like, why? What's stopping them from doing this stuff, man? Come on now. Either way, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you all for coming out, man. It's been your boy P. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more. If you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend you check out either one of the videos popped on your screen right now. Great content, guarantee you love them. And oh yeah, before you leave, don't forget to drink water.